Hey everybody, Allie Bloyd here, and today I want to talk about 8 different ways that you as an entrepreneur, business owner, or busy professional really need to be focusing on your health, whether that is physical, mental, or spiritual health. This is something that I feel doesn't get nearly enough attention in the business community, but it is ultimately crucial to your success in business. So I know a lot of different people out there that are working extremely hard to build the business of their dreams. And I, in fact, have been one of those people and continue to be one of those people. But the truth is, there's so much more to life than business. And at the end of the day, so many things that we do in our personal lives are reflected in our businesses. So if you want to look at a business that's thriving, that is continuing to grow, I would say look at that business owner, and I can guarantee that they're probably doing all 8 of these things, or they are doing most of them, because your health, mental, physical, and spiritual as a business owner is going to be reflected in the type of business that you are creating. So these are 8 different things that we're going to talk about, things that I do, things that you can do to improve your own physical, mental, emotional performance so that your business performance will also be able to thrive. So the very first thing I'll talk about is the miracle morning. So this is something that I am a big proponent of. I read the book, The Miracle Morning for Entrepreneurs, a couple of years ago. And this book was really just kind of a game changer for me. So overall, I have always been a morning person. I have gotten up pretty early, and there's definitely been times where, I've kind of fallen off the bandwagon, but this is something that always brings me back. It's something that allows me to start my day as best as I possibly can, but not even just starting that day. It really snowballs into making a significant impact on your life. So if you're not familiar with the miracle morning, it's pretty simple. It goes along the basis of doing the savers every morning. So savers is an acronym. S is for silence. This could be meditation, it could be prayer, it could be just sitting outside and listening to the birds chirp, having a time of no noise and just being in the silence and the stillness. The A stands for affirmations. So this is speaking positively to yourself, but as if it is already true. So I have never been really a super woo-woo kind of person, if you want to call it that. I am a Christian, I'm a believer, a follower of Christ, and so I do believe that spiritual aspects of our life are very prevalent and very important. But ultimately, I do also believe that our bodies and our brains, they were created with intention. And so part of our brain is the reticular activating system, the RAS. So your reticular activating system is a system in the brain that ultimately is looking to confirm what you tell it. So whether it is good, whether it is bad, your brain is looking for ways to essentially prove you right. And I'm not just talking about, ideologically right. I'm talking about proving that something is true about you, or something that you want to happen will actually happen. So this is the same concept where if you buy a red Corvette, you then begin to see red Corvettes everywhere. It's the concept that what you are thinking about, what you are more consciously aware of, your brain is then seeking out in the world. And so I don't really consider this a super woo-woo type of thing. It's really just human physiology. And if you study the brain and you understand how the brain works, it really can change the way that you go about your life, because you realize that your brain is the most powerful thing in your body. It controls everything you do. It controls your thoughts, it controls your words, it controls your actions. You can leverage your brain in a very positive way, or you can unconsciously have your brain working against you. So the concept of affirmations is really, number one, being consciously aware of things and being intentional. It's very easy to go about our lives hoping good things will happen to us or hoping we find success, but never actively thinking about what are the individual steps that I need to be taking to achieve my goals. We may not even really have a roadmap for what we want success to look like. But if you can get in the habit of saying affirmations, then you can really consciously train your brain to think about the things that will take you to the next level. So you can do affirmations in a variety of ways, but the concept behind the quote unquote right way to do affirmations is to speak them as if they already exist. And this goes back to the RAS, the reticular activating system. So if I say something like, I want to make $1 million this year. Well, we're saying I want to make $1 million this year. That's a hope. So instead of saying I want to make $1 million this year, you say I will make $1 million this year, or I run $1 million business. So the difference is subtle, but it's very important because again, if you are telling yourself, telling your brain, telling your RAS that you run $1 million business or that you will make $1 million this year, your brain is actively seeking out opportunities externally out in the world to make that true. So again, I'd highly encourage you guys, if you are not familiar with neuroscience or physiology or the RAS in general, this is something very powerful because it allows you to understand your ability to harness the power of your own brain. Most people, and this has been studied and kind of quoted in a lot of different ways over time, but they say we only use about 10% of our brain's capacity. Learn the different areas of your brain that are not being used to its fullest potential, or just simply learn what exists for your brain to be able to do, and you can train your brain. There are brain games that allow different areas of your brain to be utilized. So again, the A, I know I've talked about this one for a little bit longer, but a lot of people, if you're not familiar with affirmations, you may think it's kind of silly. But this is something that I do, not necessarily on the grand scheme. I do it more on a daily or a weekly level. So for my affirmations, I may say something like, we will sell $20,000 today. And I'm telling myself that I specifically want to do something in the here and now. And ultimately, those things that I'm saying I want to do in the here and now, or that I will do, I also have as part of my larger goals. But for me, I have always been a planner in terms of I understand what my large goals are. I break those larger goals down into smaller initiatives. I break those initiatives down into smaller steps. Then I take those steps and I kind of create a timeline and deadline those things. And I know that if I follow that plan, I likely am going to achieve whatever goal I have set for myself. So that's always kind of been my methodology when it comes to goal setting. And so because of that, I don't need to necessarily overwhelm myself with the big outcome. I know that as long as I achieve these smaller steps or I hit these marks, that I am going to lead myself to that place where I want to go. So I'd highly encourage you guys to read about that, listen about that, check that out, and really start to do this. So the V in Savers is visualization. Visualization is very similar to what we just talked about, and it's really seeing it in your mind's eye, so to speak, what you are going to do to accomplish those things that you've set out to do. So this may not be, for instance, let's take the goal of running a marathon or winning a marathon even. When you're visualizing this, you don't have to visualize yourself crossing the finish line first. What you can do is visualize yourself lacing up your tennis shoes and going on a run that very day to train. So affirmations and visualization, they don't simply cause things to happen. You actually have to put in effort. You have to put in work. And I'm sure you guys understand that because you're listening to this podcast. So you are willing to put in the work. But these things are really more about, I'm going to visualize myself doing what I know needs to be done to make those goals happen. Sometimes I'll visualize my inbox, seeing the different Stripe notifications come through for the payments that I want to see that day. And I'll be honest, it can really work. So again, I don't necessarily believe that me visualizing something like that is causing it to happen, but I do, again, feel that you're being intentional about things, that you are allowing yourself to understand what needs to be done by you to achieve those goals. And by visualizing it, you're kind of making it already so and solidifying that in your brain. So your brain's going to be more willing to take those actions that you're visualizing because you're welcoming those things into your mind, into your life. So the E is exercise. And if you guys are not exercisers, you definitely need to change that. Your body is the only one that you have. Your body is an extremely powerful machine, but not just that, this is the vessel, this is the vehicle that will allow you to do anything that you want to do in life. You need to show your body love. You need to move your body. You need to work out the kinks. You really need to be in tune with your own body as well so that you know if something's not right, so that you can take care of those things first and foremost. So I have been blessed that my parents were always big exercisers. They passed that down to me very early in life. I am a power walker. I do yoga. I've recently started doing high intensity bar, which I really enjoy. I do a lot of other things, but really those are the activities that have been pretty constant in my life. And I see exercising as simply a part of life. It's not a burden. It's actively something I want to do because I know I feel better when I do it. I know I feel worse when I don't do it, not just physically, but mentally, because it's something that I believe is what's best for me. And so if I don't do that, I'm actually going against my core values. I'm out of alignment with my own beliefs, and that is not good mentally or physically for anyone. So exercise can be whatever it is that you want to make it. It is moving your body. It is getting your heart rate up. It is really just starting your day with that physical blood flow and energy. So all of these things we've talked about so far, there is no time limit on them. I'll just mention that. You really need to just be doing these things. And the longer you can do them, obviously, the better. But just getting started, it's great to just go ahead and start to move through these things, even if it's not a tremendously long period of time. So the R is for reading. This could be physical books. It could be audio books. So I usually like to try and listen to audiobooks while I exercise. I'm knocking 2 of those out at one time. So it's really about growing your brain and expanding your mind and learning new things and thinking about things on a deeper level, which will go into your ultimate success. And then the S at the end stands for scribe. So obviously a W for write wouldn't have fit very well in the acronym. So S is for scribe, which is to write. So personally, I'm a writer. I write poetry, I write essays, I write a lot of different things. And so that's always a very enjoyable task for me. It's kind of just a natural task, but over the course of my life, I firmly believe that writing has helped me have a much deeper understanding of myself, but also of the world around me and also of others. And I think that understanding others is crucial to business success. All business is dealing with people, and also understanding yourself so that you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses. You don't let your state of mind or maybe your emotions really cloud your judgment if you are willing to explore them. So that is the miracle morning, the savers. So again, that is the first thing that I really encourage you to do. And that is going to take care a lot of your mental health. It's also going to take care of your physical health as well. So the second thing that I'll say is if you are a spiritual person, or if you are a believer, or if you are a religious person in whatever that religion may be, diving into the spiritual is very, very important, because at the end of the day, business is not all that matters in life. Money is not all that matters in life. And if that is what we believe, or if that is kind of the habit that we get ourselves into thinking, and we're not really thinking about the eternal or about the bigger picture, then those individual actions or decisions, they can really weigh on us a lot more heavily than they should. If you are grounded in something spiritual, something that is unchanging and eternal, something that gives you hope and peace, that will translate into the decisions that you make in your business, the way that you interact with people, the way that you feel about yourself, and the way you just kind of conduct business in general, such as with ethics and integrity, which I believe is also crucial to business success. I know there are a lot of unethical companies that do end up succeeding. I don't think that those are necessarily going to be around forever. And sometimes, unfortunately, evil things in this world don't suffer in this world. But again, I believe that it's really important to have ethics and integrity. So that is something that I would do, is really just, whether it's reading your Bible or going to church or, just studying, listening to sermons, whatever it may be for you, those things are very important as a whole on a regular basis. The next thing we'll talk about is food. So I believe it was Aristotle who said, "Let thy food be medicine and thy medicine be food." And that's never been more true than it is today. So we as a society, we are eating a lot of processed foods. They put a lot of chemicals. They put a lot of things in our food that we're not aware of. Even the meat that we're eating, if you're not consciously aware of how those animals were raised and even slaughtered, you actually could be eating things that are doing bad things to your body, whether you realize it or not. So just simply pay attention to what you eat. Make sure that you are eating things that come from nature, fruits, vegetables, and eating meat. If you're a meat eater, I love meat. Make sure that it's good quality meat, because those things are coming into your body. And if you are not aware of them, you could actually be suffering physical and mental effects from what is going into your body, not knowing that that's actually the root cause. So be aware, be conscious, look at those labels. And also, it's a great thing to do for your family as well, because we eat food every single day. So you need to know what's going into your body. The next thing is really related to that, but it's also about vitamins and nutrients and things that you're maybe not getting within the food that you eat. So I take several different supplements every day. I take Balance of Nature. So this is a straight up fruit and veggie supplement. It is broken down. It is ground up, nothing added. It's just the fruits and vegetables that you need in a day in capsule form. I have really, really liked taking this. I've been taking these specifically for a couple of months. Definitely recommend it. I also take something called Relief Factor. So this is for pain. I have back pain. I go to the chiropractor. I get massage. It's something I've struggled with my whole life, and I have never wanted to be on pharmaceutical pain medication. I also don't like taking lots of aspirin or ibuprofen or any of those things. Some of them are fine to take a lot of, but I don't prefer it. And so Relief Factor is a natural anti-inflammatory. Inflammation is actually a huge cause of a lot of pain and disease. And so if you can reduce inflammation, you're overall going to feel better, feel healthier. And so that is something I'd also recommend. I really, really enjoyed that. I take vitamin D. I also take several other very specific supplements for things that my chiropractor actually was able to bring to my attention through his testing and analysis, things that have also just kind of been in a deficit in my own body. And so those things are very, very important. You can still get sick, obviously, if you take vitamins. My voice is actually pretty hoarse today, but I have really resisted a lot of sickness throughout my life, especially serious illness. I've had very few medical problems, thank you, Lord, for that. But I do believe that it just goes into, what you're putting in your body. And if you're really paying attention to the healthy things that you need to be consuming for your body to function properly. So we'll also talk about self-care. And so self-care can look a lot of different ways to a lot of different people. For me, it's the chiropractor. It is getting regular massages. It's also doing my yoga and stretching. And those things are very, very crucial to me taking care of myself, feeling my best physically and mentally. Rest would be the next thing. Rest has always been something I've actually struggled with. I am not the kind of person who just can sit down and not do anything and be okay with it. I always know there's 1,000 things that could be done. So just sitting by myself or even sitting with people and just not doing anything at all, very difficult for me. I have really made sleep a top priority. I have a chilly sleep pad, which I would definitely recommend. It is a hydraulic cooling mattress pad. I like to be cold when I sleep. I also have my pillow, and I also have some neck related pillows that are awesome. I also have a weighted blanket. I've got a really great eye mask for sleeping, wearing blue light glasses. Those are all things that contribute to better rest. And then my favorite, I have an Aura ring, which tracks my sleep. It's been incredibly helpful. I think the next thing is just giving and serving others. If we do those things, we are going to renew our spirit, renew our mind, and really just focus on what's truly important. So I think that being the best you can be means giving back to others in whatever way that you can. And then finally, it's finding joy, spending time with people you love, doing activities that bring you joy, and keeping in mind that business is not all that matters in life. And the truth is, if you can really keep that as your focus, your business tends to thrive because you're not putting all this pressure on it. Your identity is not based on the success of your business. You know that you have a life outside of business, and you're also giving yourself what you need to be on your game when it's time for business. So these are my 8 things to improve your physical, mental, spiritual, emotional health. I hope you guys will really do some of these things and see the difference that it can make in your life. Bye-bye.